episode of the Natty Teacher. I'm your host. Who else but the Natty Teacher? Pretty early one today. Not super early, but decently early. About 8:15 in the morning. Got our good pre-workout meal in a little while ago. About an hour ago, maybe a little less than that. Got our pre-workout in a few minutes ago. Feeling good, man. Relatively hydrated. Always a plus. We got a pull session on the docket today, our pull A session. So it is more of a lat biased back workout for the back portion of the pull workout. Got some rear delts, some biceps, maybe a little bit of forearms. I'll be honest with you, man, my forearms are still pretty sore. Again, I really in the past have not trained forearms directly, just genetically and from years of heavy training. I actually have pretty decent sized forearms. At least they fit my body, I would say. But I'm like, you know what? I want to make it one of my goals this off season to just blast some forearms when I can. And so I did last week on Thursday, and even today on Monday. Woohoo! Man, they are still not as bad as they were yesterday. They are still tight, man. Still feeling tight. So we'll see. We'll see how they're feeling after I train my normal pull body parts, And if I got some energy to, not energy, but if I am feeling good in that area, I feel like they've loosened up a little bit, we'll throw some forearms in at the end as well. Throwing a little bit of calves as well today. You guys know the drill, man. We did some abs yesterday, so I'm not overly concerned about abs. We'll train abs again tomorrow and go from there. So, yeah, man, feeling good. First exercise on the docket. What else? Okay, what else? But a lat pull down. I always recommend, if you're going to, for really any body part, man, and this more pertains to bodybuilding than anything. It really does. You don't have to do this. You absolutely do not. But as I've gotten a little older and my training years have increased, I am a huge fan of starting my bigger body parts with, I don't want to call it an accessory movement, because a lat pull down is definitely not an accessory movement, but I guess I'm thinking like for chest, like doing like a pec deck fly, like a pec deck or like an incline fly or whatever. Moral of the story, I'm rambling on here. I like to start with an exercise that primes the body for the heavier stuff. So like for chest, I'll do a pec deck before I move on to any kind of like, pressing exercise. For back, I'll do some sort of pull through or pull down exercise, or maybe even maybe a pull up, depending on, my training split at the time, exercise before I go on to like a row. Like I'm not going to jump right into like a Smith row or a barbell row or something like that. I'll have some other exercise, there. Legs, leg extension. Shoulders, if I was going to train shoulders, directly, which is, obviously it's a part of my push workouts, but if I had an individual shoulder day, starting with a lateral exercise rather than jumping into, a dumbbell shoulder press. It's things like that I have noticed as I've gotten older, that if anything, they take very little away from the bigger movements. Sometimes they actually help with it, but it just makes my joints and tendons and, of course, the muscles feel a lot better. I just feel more primed in. I feel more dialed into the muscle. I feel like I can connect better mentally to the actual muscle group in which I'm trying to hit. I'm a big fan of it. So whether you're a beginner or you're advanced, I would say maybe give it a try. Honestly, maybe give it a try. And again, this is very much so pertaining to bodybuilding specifically. If you're in powerlifting, that's a whole different realm that I'm unfamiliar with. Obviously, you want to have as much energy to put into your big compound lifts, I would assume, as you can. So, yeah. But if you're looking for actual like visual muscle growth, please always remember this, guys. The body doesn't know weight, and it knows tension. You know what I mean? So that's why it's so important to knock down that technique first, and knock down, really locking into that form and creating that intensity in your training, rather than just focusing on, what your 1 rep max is every week. And that's just not a bodybuilding thing. Again, when you're really trying to visually change the way your body looks, intensity and technique, in my opinion, are really the big go-tos. But anyways, you're probably sick of this already. If you stuck around, hey, nice. If not, you've probably already fast forwarded to the actual training or whatever part of the video that you like most. I don't know. None of it. Maybe you just skipped over all of it. I don't know. Regardless, though, first exercise on the docket, again, a lat pull down. You're going to see that top set right about now. All right, as promised, we got a lat pull down. Now, this is actually my second working set here. It was the same weight as I did my top set with, but I was having some issues. I could not find good knee placement on the lat pull down machine for my first set. Just felt off, so I'm like, you know what, we're gonna delete that recording. Didn't really look super clean. We're gonna just focus on this second one here. Now, I'll tell you, my forearms were still absolutely just blasted from training them directly for the first time in a while last week. So that last little bit of trying to bring the bar down to the chest was difficult. We did. I think I did a set of 8 here. The first 6 were definitely right down touching the chest. The last 2 were slightly above the chest. But we did 3 working sets here. Again, those top sets we're trying to keep in that roughly 6 to 10 rep range. And then any kind of back off set, I did I dropped the weight 20% after this one, or just under 20%, and I think I set it like 15, so it felt great. 3 total working sets. Then, this is a bent over Smith row, but this camera angle doesn't really show how bent over I am. I promise you, it is a pretty decent amount, not 90 degrees or anything like that, a little more upright than that, of course. But what you'll see a little difference here is I'm actually pausing at the top just ever so briefly, really squeezing in through the lats. After I watch back this recording and just kind of something I noticed too, I'm really going to try to drive the elbows a little bit more, a little bit closer to the body. Really try to drive up and through the lat here. This is 2 plates and a 10 on each side here. This was our top set. We did a follow-up set with this as well. We did a set of 10 here and then a set of 8. And then we dropped the weight down to just around 2 plates. And did, I think, a set of 12. So 3 working sets here, or maybe 13, 12 or 13. Then some 1 arm cable pull downs. Again, trying to drive through the lat. What you'll see is that I'm really stretching forward. You see I'm kind of using I'm using the right arm here, but I'm leaning in towards this right arm a little bit. That's a great cue. What we're trying to do is basically picture driving that weight down through the lat, okay? Really driving through, have a brief little hold in the back. This was our top set here. Again, trying to keep that top set in that 6 to 10 rep range, back off set in that 10 to 15-ish rep range. So this was a set of 8 per arm. We dropped the weight down, again, just under 20%, and did a following set of 12 or 13. Then went on to some machine rear delt flies. Again, really focusing on control here. You can see that compared to what I used to do in the past, definitely getting a little bit more of a range of motion, especially in the back, and slowing everything down. That nice brief hold and pause in the back in that position, and then in the fully stretched position as well. So we did 3 total working sets here, all with the same weight, just progressively. They were all straight sets, though, all straight sets. So I believe we did a top set of 12 here, and then 2 back off sets, or following sets, I should say. We didn't back off the weight, so 2 additional sets. Both were 10 reps apiece. So again, it's kind of our heavier rear delt day. When we train rear delts again later on in the week, it'll be closer to like 12 to 20 reps for each set. Then some good old dumbbell hammer curls. Now we did up the weight a little bit. What you'll see here is that I'm allowing that elbow to track in front of the body. Don't worry about locking that elbow right on the side. Make sure that you are getting a good full range of motion. I like to pause at the top just to make sure I'm fully squeezing that bicep. This is a great bicep and forearm builder here. So we upped the weight a little bit. Last week, we did all 3 of our working sets with the 40s. This week, we upped the weight to the 45s here. Again, all of our working sets we're trying to keep in that roughly 8 to 12 rep range or so. I think we started out with a top set of 10, went to a follow-up set of 8, and then finished with a set of 7. So we're pretty close to where we'd want to be with that. I probably will work with this weight again next week, keep the form really solid, and continue to add more and more clean reps to this particular exercise. So again, felt really good. Even with the forearm still being pretty fatigued, I was pretty happy with how I was able to control this weight. Again, you don't need to, I'm more than capable of, hammer curling 70, 80 pound dumbbells and just swinging them up here. We don't want to do that. Use as the least amount of body English you can use, the better. Again, I'm putting my elbow out in front of the body, getting that good full range of motion, pointing the head of the dumbbell at that front delt, the front of the shoulder, and really getting a nice hard squeeze. And you can see each rep I'm controlling the weight. I'm not allowing the weight to just throw down at the bottom. I'm controlling the weight on the way down, okay? So again, 3 total working sets here. Only roughly 60-second breaks in between these 3 working sets. So the pump by the end of this was brutally awesome, to say the least. Then on to our last bicep exercise. We only do 2, but we did 6 total working sets still. So I would always recommend for arms, for biceps and triceps, if you're looking for a general base amount of volume, I would say, let's say you're doing like a 6-day push-pull legs where you're splitting up, you're doing arms, let's say biceps, like I am on Mondays, and then you're doing them again on Thursdays. I would say try to incorporate somewhere between 5 and 7 working sets per workout. For me right now, I'm right in the middle of that. I'm at 6. So I do 6 total working sets of direct bicep work on Mondays, and then an additional 6 direct sets of bicep work on Thursdays. I've noticed that 10 to 12 working sets throughout the week for arms, for biceps and triceps, absolutely has been my sweet spot for sure for consistent growth. Anyways, so 1-arm cable curls here. I do actually 2 different cable curling variations throughout the week. One kind of towards the top of the tower, and one here at the very bottom. Okay, so we're positioning our starting point of the elbow behind the body, really tracking that weight up with good control and getting that good squeeze. 3 working sets. Workout complete. Now I'll tell you, and it happens. I'm gonna have to give that workout maybe a 9 out of 10, 8.5, probably a 9. Yeah, it was good. Could have been better. I still had a little bit of tightness and fatigue. I tweaked something when I was doing my machine side laterals yesterday up in my left trap, and that's still been tight today. And then my forearms, like I said, I had trained them for the first time directly in a while on Thursday of last week. And then I noticed post-workout yesterday, I didn't really notice it during my workout, but post-workout yesterday, felt them tighten up a little bit. And kind of the whole day yesterday, they were just freaking sore. And I could still tell that they were fatigued today. Okay, so got to be leery of that when I'm training my forearms in the future. But still a very good workout. Still a really good workout for sure. Yeah. But yeah, no. Good stuff. Good back pumps. Definitely one thing I was very happy with. Well, not one, but there were a handful of things I was really happy with, I should say. But my rowing, my Smith rowing, and I talked about it during the actual voiceover for the Smith row as well. I really, really honed in on my form today, and I got to get a better camera angle because I don't think it really showed just kind of how far bent over I was. Not to 90 degrees or anything like that. I think that's crazy. But more kind of in between, straight up and down and bent all the way over, kind of a neutral spot. But I really did focus on getting that good squeeze and good contraction, lowering the weight a little bit. It's not like I went from, 275 for my top sets to, 185 or something like that. We went from 275 to 245 and cleaned up the form, added a few reps, got better squeezes, better pumps, better contractions. Definitely gives me something to look forward to and build off of, as we progress in this off season, trying to add more and more density and tissue to my back and to all of my muscle groups, of course. So I'm glad that I took the ego out of that exercise and cleaned that up a little bit more. So, yeah, buddy. Anyways, good stuff, guys. Great stuff. Tomorrow, join me for my leg A workout. So our quads session, it wrecked me last time. Wrecked me. It was a great workout. It was like a 12 out of 10 workout last week, but it absolutely, first of all, humbled me and also absolutely wrecked me. I would say today is the first day that my quads are actually feeling looser, honestly. They were, even yesterday, were near sensitive to the touch still. They were so freaking blasted. So again, I'm still, woo! I'm a little nervous for tomorrow, man. Nervously excited though, put it that way. But yeah, it was a blast last time, and I mean that in a variety of ways, man. It blasted my legs, and it was fun. It was a blast, it was a lot of fun too. But so join me tomorrow for that. For the rest of the day, still got cardio later on. I did not film my calf work today. Just did 100 reps with 135 on the Smith row, or a plate on the Smith machine. On the Smith machine. with on the platform, so I actually was able to get that stretch. These ones were much more pulse reps, so a little bit quicker. I kind of alternate between doing really deep stretch reps and then more high rep pulse work. I like both. I like both. I think both can build calves. It's just about consistency. So we just did 100 total reps there. Rested obviously as many times as we did. We'd do like 10-15 reps at a time, rest, 10-15 reps at a time, rest, only take maybe 10 or 15 second breaks in between. And then I did 100 reps of some body weight tibialis raises. So you sit back against the wall, drive your butt into the wall, and then drive those, the front of your feet, those toes, point those toes up to the ceiling. So it hits the front of the calf, for lack of better term, front of the shin, I should say. But yeah, so I did 100 reps total body weight there. Had to take way fewer breaks because it was body weight and, all that. But yeah, I got cardio still later on. No direct abdominal training today. You got to cut my lawn, so I'm actually going to get quite a few extra steps in. But yeah, so make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, I really enjoy this stuff. Make sure you check out my TikTok at the same thing, at the Natty Teacher. Today, I may post my first episode of the Natty Teachings. It'll either be today or tomorrow. I'll for sure have like a little compilation video of my training exercises, so it's easy for you to save. You can favorite it or like it, and then you can just have all my my training clips right there if you're following along and utilizing some of the exercises in which I'm utilizing. So yeah, go check it out, man. Anyways, again, for today, I am the Natty Teacher. Happy July, and summer school is out. I'll catch y'all on the flippity.